Okay, this is lesson 5, quick fixes, and we're going to do a file browse and bridge. Take a second for that to come up. And you can see there are quite a few files in here. Thumbnail size. We're going to go to the red-eye start JPEG. And I'm going to get out of my crop tool. And we're going to do a save as, what we always do, and save the file as working. So 5 working, and I'll put my initials in there, and I'm going to go to my completed folder and make a new folder for it. JPEG, actually, while we're looking at this, is a Joint Photographers Expert Group. It is a kind of file compression that is loosey. In other words, you do lose something if you compress down too far, but it's a great file format for images in online, in the internet atmosphere. So I'm just going to say okay to maximum is good for now. And we're going to zoom in around her eyes. That's the name of the file. Red eye. We're going to get the red eye tool under the spot healing brush. It's J, and you can shift J through there to get it. Reduce the pupil size in the options bar down to 23%. So we'll do something like that, 23. And the darken amount to 62. And click the pupil in the woman's eye, left side first. And that's pretty amazing. Do the same for the right. And do a command 0, fit on screen, and save our file. All right, we're going to go into the curves in the adjustments panel. So I think I'm going to, there it is. Pop that forward. I'll move my layers, dock my layers down here. And curves. It's right next to levels. And click auto to apply the automatic correction. Press our auto button. And then we're going to choose lighter from the preset menu. Click the Reset to Adjustments Default button. So we're going to go back, select the On-Image Adjustment tool, and then click the center of the forehead and drag up. So let me move this over a little bit. Okay, that adds a curve point that corresponds with the tonal level where we clicked on the image. And they want us to go ahead and flatten that non-destructive thing. I'm going to close my properties. So in the Layers panel menu, we're going to flatten and save our file. Command S. I'm not going to be going through the menu too much anymore. We're already at lesson 5, and you guys know most of the keyboard shortcuts by now that we've been using regularly. We're going to choose Filter, main menu, then go down to Liquify. Okay, in the Properties panel, if the Face Aware Liquify option are collapsed, expand them. So this is closed. Click it open. Make sure that the eyes section is expanded and that the link icon is selected for both eye size and eye height. Okay, so the links are all set. We're going to go 32 for eye size. And 10 for eye height. Make sure the mouth section is open. And enter 5 for the smile and 9 for the mouth height. Go to the face shape section. And then enter 40 for jawline and 50 for face width. Deselect and reselect the preview options to compare. So if we go off, on, off, on. Click the OK to exit Liquify. And close the document and save your changes. So I'm going to do Command S, Command W. So we're going to do File, Browse and Bridge. Select Egret Start. You can compare these two if you want. And do a file, return to Photoshop. And then say File, open as Smart Object. And select the Egret Start. And we'll do a save as. And call it working 05 and initials. Comp folder, good to go. All right, do a little command 0. Okay, we're gonna go filter down to blur gallery, and we're gonna select iris blur. That takes us into this little macro, and it says drag the center pin so that it's at the bottom of the bird's body. So we're gonna put that about there. Click the ellipse and drag inward to tighten the focus around the bird. Maybe move this up a little bit. Okay. And press Option or Alt if you got a PC as you click and drag the feather handles to match those, as it says we see in this image in our text. So Option. Looks like one is there. And one is here. That's good. Well, they look like they're in the right place to me. One there. And double click the blur gallery in the egret layer. And adjust the blur to 6 pixels. So just showing us that we can go back in and re-edit anything, right? And again, we're just going to click OK. The egret is accentuated by blurring the rest of the image. Save your file and then close it. So that's all there was to that one. All right, creating a panorama. We're going to choose, again, File, Browse and Bridge. Navigate to the Lesson 5 folder and then look for the skyline and thumbnail. Just want us to look at it in preview. And then return to Photoshop. And with no files open, very important actually, you can't have any other windows open. So if you have something you're working on, close it out right now, because we're going to do an automate and it'll include anything that is open. So we're going to go File, Automate, and choose Photo Merge. In the source files area, click Browse. And navigate to Lesson 5 for the panorama folder. So let's go into our CIB folder, Lessons, Lesson 5, and somewhere is the files for panorama. And shift select all the images. So this is important that they're numbered 1 through 4. That tells Photoshop what order to take them in. So if you have your own images you want to merge in the future, make sure you do number them sequentially so it knows and then click OK or Open. We want to, the layout area, we're going to select Perspective. And at the bottom of the Photo Merge dialog box, select Blend Images Together. It's already checked. Vignette Removal. Vignette is when it gets sort of dark or some kind of an oval type shape is appearing around the corners. Geometric distortion correction. And content aware fill. So we're going to get them all transparent areas and then click OK. Okay, that should take a minute or two to work on that. And, well, not a minute, a few seconds. But all right, we're going to choose select, deselect. So Command D, and then layer, flatten image. And do a file, save as, call it Skyline Working, initials, and we're going to make sure that it's a Photoshop file. And then save it into your folder that you know where it is. I'm going to put it in my lessons comp. Folder, save. And go to the adjustments and hit the levels. Adjustments panel. Get the white point eyedropper. And we're going to get one of the clouds, like where a little white part right there. Save your work. And S. Okay, filling empty areas. Well, I'm going to move this over. I'll close it. So the horizon line they're saying is messed up, which it looks like it. And the handrail is incomplete. So what we're going to do is flatten our image again. So go over here, flatten image. Get the crop tool, C on the keyboard. In the options bar, select straighten button. And make sure content aware is selected. Then position the straighten pointer at the horizon line on the left of the image and drag to the right to create a straight line. So let's, the horizon they're talking about is the water line in the back. And let go. Okay, so that creates some white space or empty space that underneath. And with the crop tool still active, we're going to drag the handles until the complete image is, complete. So we're going to get rid of any of that. Area with no no image. And go ahead and hit the commit button or enter a return or double click. And save your file and close it. All right, this next one's going to be about doing a lens correction. So we're going to browse and bridge again. We're looking for column start. And do a save as. And it's columns working. And then we're going to go in and do filter, lens correction. And select show grid at the bottom of the dialog box. And in the correction area, the auto correct tab, make sure auto scale is selected. Auto scale is. Select the custom tab. And in that tab, drag the remove distortion slider to about +52. And that removes the barrel distortion from the camera. And click OK. And they say to compare it, do a Command Z, Command Z, Command Shift Z. That's good. We're going to just do a Command S, again, Command W. They call this quick fixes because that's what we're doing. The next one's not so quick, but it's very cool. Okay, choose again to browse and bridge. And we are going to do the glass. There we go. There it is. And make my thumbnails a little smaller. Okay, so we got glass start. And this all has to do with correcting depth of field, which I believe I have talked to you about before. Okay. We're going to do a save as. And name it glass working. So depth of field. Really depth of field means how much area is in focus. So when you focus on a camera lens, you end up with certain things in focus and certain things out of focus in a normal camera. So on this layer that we're seeing here, it looks like the glass is slightly out of focus, right? Because it's so close to the camera, it's outside of the actual focusing area where the depth of field starts. But you can see the beach house, and pretty much a lot of the beach is in focus. If we click to the next image, you see we have focus on the wine glass, and then the beach house is out of focus. So those are typically two pictures that you could take. So you could put your camera on a tripod and focus on the glass, or you could focus on the background. So the depth of field is very narrow here because it only exists from where the camera is, which I'm assuming is only a few feet away from this glass, to slightly beyond it at the end of the rail over here, and then everything else gets out of focus and becomes what we call soft, right? If I look at the top image, I see that the glass is soft and the back is very clear. So in the layers panel, we're going to hide the beach layer. Shift click to select both of the layers. It doesn't matter that they're invisible. Choose edit, auto align layers. So edit, auto align layers. Because they were done from the same camera angle, auto is going to be okay. So we'll just use auto. Make sure that neither vignette removal nor geometric distortion is selected. So let's take those two things off and then click OK. Then we're going to make sure both layers are still selected, which they are. And we're going to choose Edit Auto Blend Layers. And we want to stack images and seamless tones and colors, and make sure content aware transparent areas is not selected. So we're going to kind of go there and uncheck it and then click OK. Aha, right? Now we have the foreground in focus and the background in focus, which is very cool. Definitely Photoshop trickery. So save your file, Command S, and then Command W, close your window. And one more time, back to Bridge. And we're going to open up the Japanese garden start. Again, you can always look at the end file if you want. Do a file save as. Change it to Japanese garden working. And put it in our comp folder or wherever you're saving your images. I'm going to say just OK to that. Okay, we're going to get the lasso tool and set the feather to 25. So lasso. And in the options bar, 25 pixels for feathering. And drag a selection around the rock on the left of the, drag a selection marquee around the rock on the left and the rock's reflection in the water. Remember, if you don't get it perfect, you can always go back and refine it a little bit. I don't think that's too bad. I might option out a little bit of it there. Okay, then we're going to go edit, content aware fill, edit, content aware fill. Okay, with that dialog box open, they want us to take our brush size down to about 175 pixels. Close enough. And as I notice, there's a minus sign, right? The tool is set to subtract. We're going to paint over unwanted areas such as the foliage or the edge where the water meets the foliage to exclude it from the sampling area. So what we're going to do is go in and paint over the parts that got selected that we don't want to include. I think that looks pretty good. I need to get this part here. So when we're satisfied, they say we should click OK. And then choose Select Deselect. It's not bad. I mean, I could come in and stamp out a little bit of my brush size up. Yeah, I could stamp out a little bit of this if I wanted to. And then save your work and close file. We're going to do another file, browse and bridge. And we're looking for bridge start PSD. And we're going to do file save as. Call bridge working. On a different computer, so I need to make another folder here. All right. We're going to be on the train layer and do an edit perspective warp. This is kind of fun, like a puppet warp, but what you're going to do in class, I think next. But so there's a little tutorial about what to do here. And we're going to draw a quad around the side of the train to start with. Just kind of do a little Command 0. Okay, so we're going to draw somewhere around here. Get the wheel. And then we're going to draw another one. Front. Something like that. Or to click the warp in the options bar. And click the automatically straighten near vertical lines button next to the warp in the options bar. And drag the handles to appropriate places. So I'm going to pull the train down on the tracks. Get it as close in place as you think it should be. Like a cow catcher needs to be a little more center. And then when you're ready, hit the commit button. And save your file. And that's a basic puppet warp, or excuse me, perspective warp they can do with this tool. So save your files and put them all into one folder.